Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome back to Nate's Rooms podcast. I'm your humble host, N8. Today we have Isaiah Jackson on the podcast, man, and author of Bitcoin in Black America. This book is amazing, guys. You gotta go check it out. I'm currently reading it right now, halfway through. It's an easy read. I love it. That's the most thing I love about it. Also, you're a founder of what is this, KRB Digital Assets Group, and also you're the host of Gentlemen of Crypto, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you got a lot of things going on, bro. Yeah. So how you been over there? Are you in LA right now, or what's going on?
I'm in LA right now. Things have been, LA is LA. Even with sort of the shutdowns and stuff, things are still going. Traffic is a little bit less, so that's good. But
yeah. I know traffic is crazy over there because I was over there and it's like, because I'm in Florida, so it's different, man. Like, and I heard you guys are in lockdown again.
Yeah, to an extent, but like I said, it's LA. People don't listen. I mean, there's still a bunch of stuff open, so yeah, it is what it is, but you just got to deal with it.
All right, true, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I just wanted to let my audience just understand, like, if you can just give us, well, before we get into it, I just want to get a summary of you and where you came from into writing the book of Bitcoin in Black America.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I got into the Bitcoin space in 2013, and I got in at a pretty optimal time because Bitcoin was around $150. And for those listening, I thought I was late when I started. So if you think you're late now, everybody does. So it's never too late. Bitcoin's still early. So got in 2013. I started studying a lot about it 2014, 2015, trading, mining, all about the different names in the space, learning about the white paper, the technical side. And, I worked in IT before I went, full-time into Bitcoin. But 2016, I started a consulting and education firm, KRB Digital Assets Group. And also in 2017, started the show. And one of the biggest things was most of our clients were Black, and nobody had really seen Black people have a YouTube show about crypto. We were the first, if not one of the first. And, that just kind of attracted a lot of Black people to say, hey, all right, well, there are Black people that exist in this space. And, consulting wise, about 80% of our clients were Black. So I just figured I needed to make it more efficient and put out information where everybody could grab it at any time, not necessarily, having to schedule consultations or watch the show. So I wrote the book, Bitcoin in Black America, last year in July. And it had some pretty good traction. Some things along the way. Jack Dorsey endorsing it was good. A few other big names, rappers, Maya, the singer, a few other people endorsed it. But then the events with George Floyd happened, and all of a sudden, people were going to protest with signs that said "Google Bitcoin in Black America," and it just sort of really took off in June. And at this point, I've every day is a whole different day of interviews and meeting people, but it's great because people are starting to realize when the smoke clears, Black people need an economic solution, and Bitcoin is the only one that we haven't tried. People have bought gold, people have bought real estate, people own businesses. We had a Black president, we have Black CEOs. None of that worked because our community still has the same median value since 1960. So, I mean, as much money as we think we're making between inflation and between the amount of money that is kept out or was kept out of our community, we're still at the same place we were essentially. So I think Bitcoin can change all that, which is why I wrote the book.
Wow, man. Yeah, the book is powerful, man. I like how you dedicated it to Nipsey Hussle, bro. Because he definitely, like, just watching him and hearing him talk about it, definitely. And he was actually the only Black person really that I've seen, even though he was like kind of a celeb, but he was only the person seen that was really pushing it out there. And like, sucks that he died, man. He died on my birthday, which was crazy too. So yeah, I was definitely a huge fan of Nip, man. And yeah, it's dope. He would have loved this book, man. Well, hold on. When it came out, when you said it
came out July. It came out July 2019. When he passed, I probably had about 40% of the book done. But when he passed, one of the biggest things being in LA, I always told myself when I finished the book, I would get it to Nipsey. And I would always be like, oh, I have time. And then when he passed, it just sort of changed my mindset on everything. It's like, no, it can happen to anybody. Anybody could be gone the next day. Whatever you are planning on doing, do that shit right now. At least start it, because you don't know when it's your last day or somebody you look up to. because that was the one person I was like, I need to hand him this book in person. And I even went to Vector 90, where he set up the workspace group in South Central. I went there, met the people there, and I actually planned my first book tour stop to be at Vector 90, and I wanted him to be there. It didn't happen because he had already passed. So Nipsey was a big inspiration. We come from similar backgrounds, having middle class sort of family, but also having the hood element there, but using your own money to pull yourself up. That's always been one of my biggest strong points.
For sure, that's dope. And also Bitcoin. Can you summarize for our audience what Bitcoin is?
Oh yeah. So in one sentence, Bitcoin is money. It is a new money system. And the difference between the Bitcoin money system and the current system is who controls the ledger, who controls the transactions or shows the transactions. And because our current system is centralized with government and in humans, we have corruption, greed, and of course, we've seen what the Federal Reserve does as far as inflation. With the Bitcoin money system, it's a deflationary system that gains value over time, simply because the more people are added to the network, the more people use it, the more value Bitcoin has. So that is, in the shortest terms I can put it, what Bitcoin is and the difference between that and our current money system.
Okay, great. And what I love in the book too, and that you talk about, is money and how money works and things of that nature. And the book I was reading before that was the Bitcoin Standard, and that book was like really lengthy. And I like the way that you kind of summarize it and bring it, make things happen faster in the book. It makes you more excited to just take action and do something. Like right after reading the chapter, you just be like, damn, I'm about to, let me go do something right now. Like, so you definitely put those words together great, man.
I appreciate that.
So how can those who haven't read the book yet, which they will after this for sure, but how do you think Bitcoin can help Black America, and what do you suggest that Black America does to take action to utilize Bitcoin, or look into it at least?
Absolutely. So on the surface level, most people see the price. They see Bitcoin's price and they say, hey, we can buy Bitcoin and, as a store of value, we could gain value as a community, right? If Black churches start adopting it, if Black businesses start accepting it, that is on the surface level what Bitcoin can do long term. But digging a little deeper, Bitcoin actually gives us leverage in a lot of the discussions we have. Whenever people go to Congress and are like, well, Black people need reparations, or we need support in the healthcare system, or all of these things are us asking them without any sort of leverage. And for somebody like myself who's been in business, there is no business conversation without leverage. And in my opinion, what we're going for in this country is equality. The way to do that is to have something that gives you leverage. So in my opinion, if you say, hey, as a community, we will exit this system and all of the trillions of dollars that we use to support it, we'll go to Bitcoin instead. Once people start moving money out of their bank savings accounts or stop using Roth IRAs and start saying, no, I'd rather use Bitcoin long term because that's a better return, in my opinion, that gives us the leverage we need to progress forward. Because once you start saying, hey, well, we need for you all to stop with these banking fees. We need for you all to stop with the slow transaction times or remittances. All of those things are better with Bitcoin already. So if you just use it, you already have a better quality of life as far as a money system. But as money is moved out of the current system, they have to make a decision. They're like, all right, are we going to go bankrupt, or are we going to either, make our practices better, or they'll exit the system? And I think that is a powerful tool that Bitcoin has, and every single group of people around the world can use it. So indigenous people everywhere, people who haven't had an economic, standing for a long time can use Bitcoin. So I think that's the best use case.
Right. Definitely. I definitely 100% agree with that. It's hard to talk to a lot of friends and stuff about it because there is a sense of urgency to it. Yeah. So it's like, all right, yeah, I'll get to it like next month or 2 years from now and see, oh shit, bro, the price went crazy. Like, it's like, bro, just look into it now. At least look at what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and exactly. All those facts that you just stated right there, now is a perfect time to look into it for sure.
Absolutely. And I've had people I told 5 years ago that have come back and like, man, I should have did it back then. I should have bought. And I'm like, so you still don't have any at this point? You haven't been. And that's how it goes. Some people they'll complain all day. And then when you give them a solution, that keeps them from complaining. So they're like, well, if I can't complain anymore, then what's you know what I mean? So if you take away all of the excuses, you're left with people a lot of times who that's what they want to do. They want to make excuses. And you find that out real quick because I'm like, yeah, if millions of Black people right now just started buying Bitcoin, which may happen, we are planning a Bitcoin buyout August 11th.
Nice.
So yeah, and I'll speak about that shortly. But if that happens, at what point do you take action? And that's why I kept the book short. That's why I made it where it was like you could do this today, like right now, because the time is of the essence. That's the only scarce asset any of us have is time. And if you're wasting it, that's on you. But to me, that's the most valuable thing you have. So take action today.
Right, definitely. Yeah, man. And also I hear you talking about I think in a couple of interviews you're talking about coding and how important it is to at least learn coding or look into blockchain as well, which is the new technology, or just into the tech world alone. And what the research I've done is like, because my sister, she works at Google, she's an engineer there, and she said there's not a lot of Black people in tech at all. And I was like, what? I'm like, no way. I'm like, and I looked it up and I'm like, yo, there's mostly Asians, Indians, like a lot of whites, but like 2% Blacks. I'm like, what? I'm like, no way, that's impossible. I'm like, how come we haven't heard this anywhere? Why is this not on the national news? Like, we need more Black people in tech for sure. And so what do you suggest? How do you what do you suggest for Black people to do to take the steps to get into tech or to look into that as well?
Well, I think this recent shutdowns we've had is a great opportunity to do online courses and get certifications. Because in the tech world, it's not so much about college, it's about what can you do. If you can actually build a product from scratch using coding, you're much better than a 4-year graduate who just knows, the jargon and kind of knows, what they're doing. So you can get experience building or coding apps. And you can also get into the tech world without knowing how to code. That's another thing I always tell people. Artists, you can do front-end design. If you are a project manager, you can get into the tech world with project management. If you're a salesperson, you can learn enough about the tech to sell it as well. So you can get into the tech world a myriad of ways. You just have to want to do it and realize that this is the future. If people don't think it's the future now, they're starting to see exactly what a lot of people have been saying is that your jobs are going to be gone. Whatever you're doing right now is going to be taken over by AI, and remote working is going to take over. So what do you think is going to dominate? Tech. So at this point, I don't think there's any excuse to entering it, but I think that barrier of entry was there in the traditional educational system because they didn't really teach it in a lot of the mostly Black schools that I taught high school, fresh out of college, and I taught computer engineering, scientific visualization, and the class was 20% Black, 80% white and Asian, and that was at a school that was 90% Black.
Wow.
So that's what I'm telling people. I was like, even in a mostly Black school, I had a mostly white class for tech because, Black people are great at using it. We run Instagram, we run the Twitter, Facebook. We have all of the trends, but nobody's building it. And I think that was a big issue that started with the traditional education system, but we can change that now. And I think blockchain affords us an opportunity to get into an industry early that actually pays more than a lot of the traditional tech companies because it's so new, not that many people know about it. I would guess there's maybe 100 qualified blockchain engineers in the world that could say, yeah, I have experience in blockchain tech all these years. Maybe 1,000. I'll give it 1,000, but that's nothing. I mean, you have thousands of Black people entering the blockchain tech today, and we dominate that space. The next Googles and Facebooks will be Black owned. So it's just looking down the road, 20, 30 years from now, I think that vision will come true.
All right. And also, I wanted to ask you about schools. Like, what do you think about, so if somebody wants to code, do you think they need to go to like get a 4-year degree? Or do you think this is something where they can get the skills offline, like take a boot camp or just learn themselves how to code or, just get the basics at least and absolutely. Not have to spend $40,000, $20,000 something dollars?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say if you do want to go to school, go to community college because you can do for $5,000 what some other school would charge $40,000 a year for. But if you don't want to go to community college route because it is specialized online, like you said, boot camps are available. There are a lot of free courses. You can start with coding for kids if you want a very, very base knowledge. You can start there and work your way up. And I would say that if you're focused and you really want to become sort of a coder or a software developer, in 6 months with hard work, you can be a junior software developer. I've seen people get jobs right off of that, just off certifications and building different products. So yes, it's very possible. And the old model of school is going away as we see it right now. My mother, who was a teacher, me and her actually came up with the idea for remote learning about 4 years ago. Like I realized the way schools are, we've seen enough in, you know, a bunch of kids sitting in one spot, walking in line, going to the next place. You know what I mean? It's so convoluted. That's not how you should be able to learn. I knew this day was coming. And honestly, I think going forward, we're not really going to go back. It's going to be a lot of remote learning. So if you're going to sit at home and remote learn, tech is probably the best way to go.
Right. I agree. So true. And you think, at what age do you think a lot of parents should introduce their child into coding or tech or, you know, things of that nature?
As soon as, I mean, even I have a child on the way. As soon as my
congrats.
child, appreciate it. Yeah, in a few months. Nice. So I would say as a parent, if I was a parent, as soon as your child wants to use your electronics and can speak, that's when you should start teaching them about coding.
Oh my God. Well, there's shit. I've seen kids.
Like, no, I'm talking about actually use it, not like babies.
Oh, okay. Not like licking the screen.
No,
okay.
No. I'm talking about 5, 6 years old where they can, like, I have a nephew that's 8. By the time he was 5 or 6, he was able to, you know, get into the phone. He could play games. He knew how to set up, you know, his PS4. So what I did was I stopped him one day and I was like, wouldn't you like to build Fortnite? And he was like, that would be nice. That would be tight. Showed him coding for kids. And now my brother has him doing that at 8 years old. So as early as they can speak English or speak, and as early as they're using it, I think you should start, because if they get an interest, most of the great developers I know, they started when they were like 7, 8 years old.
Right.
They were proficient by the time they were 18. So, you know, to me, it's always good to start early. And not only that, it teaches problem solving skills, because it is pretty hard at first if you don't understand the logic. But once you get it, you look at everything different. Solving problems just becomes a way of life. So I think that definitely helps.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm actually taking the coding course at the end of July. It's like a 4-week course, just a beginner course with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Nice. And then I'm going to move into front end and just gain the skills, Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it's an important thing too, because one of my friends did tell me that, you know, it does help with your problem solving skills, like how you just said. And I was like, that's dope, because I've never been into problem solving, so I would like to have that skill under the belt, you know?
Yeah.
Sure. And I think that's about it, man. And man, I appreciate you, Isaiah. Appreciate you taking this interview, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
I appreciate
a lot,
that,
man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna learn a lot of stuff from this interview, man. I appreciate it a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Anytime, man. Because actually, I have the second book coming this year.
What?
Yes. So, like it is.
Up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because this first book just got popular the last couple months. However, I've been writing this other book since I put out the first one. So it's kind of, so, you know, and I knew over this year, this would be a crucial year. 2020 is an election year. Crazy shit happens every election year. So I knew this year would be a great time to put out another book, a follow-up, because so much has changed in a year. And I can't wait for people to see it. So yeah, that information will be out soon. So you and your crowd will be one of the first to know.
That's what's up. Appreciate it, man. And when are you gonna come to Fort Lauderdale, bro? I know. I know the Florida Spikes. They lying on the news, man. It's not that bad.
Trust me, I have at least 15 cousins in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, what? That's where I'm at.
I was there January 18th through the 20th. I was there for the North American Bitcoin Conference.
Oh,
so
man.
I was there for that, and then I saw all my cousins. We hung out, and then COVID happened. But I was planning on going back for my birthday, which was in March. But of course, because I mean they had $40 tickets to Miami, I was like, I'm going. But I called my cousins. They were like, well, everything's shut down right now. But
yeah,
I called them recently, and they were like, not really anymore. He's like on the news. He was like, they make it seem bad, but Florida has a lot of older people.
Right.
So of course, when it happens, it's taking out a lot of the older people who already live there. And I'm like, yeah, you know, most of the stats I see is like 80%, 90% are people over the age of 65.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, it's not as bad as they make it seem. They always make Florida look like it's something wrong, but I love a lot of the Miami. I got a lot of family down there. Love it.
Damn, that's dope. Man,
Mm-hmm.
when you come down here, man, let me know. I'm gonna be, and I also want to get my book because I gotta order the hard copy. I want to get my book signed too, man. That would be dope.
Oh, yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, definitely.
All right, that's it, man. Thank you so much for dropping them gems and swinging through the Nate's room, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, brother.
All right, have a good one, man. Stay safe.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, peace.
Peace.